Something you see in Vietnam, a cemetery and a paddy field. In a culture where one reveres one's ancestors, you keep your family close. A few yards away, life continues much as it has for centuries, planting and irrigating rice in the same backbreaking way, the same deceptively simple-looking patchwork of canals and dikes. It's something I'm kind of obsessed with, rice paddy fields. Views like this. It's what I've dreamed of having outside my window if I could ever find a way to live here. Today is my last day in Hội An, and I'm headed upriver.
Little loud. Your muffler, get it fixed.
My local guide, Tuan, has arranged a meal with some people who live very much like my future neighbors probably will.
Go upstream to join with one of the local families on meal.
The family that we're visiting, how far upriver?
Now the 5K on the waterway.
Our destination in this case is an island accessible only by boat. A community of fishermen, riverboat captains, and people who make their living on the water. This in a place that was located just below the 17th parallel, not too far from the DMZ and what they call here the American War. Smoke from a wood fire fills the kitchen as a meal cooks.
See, look at that. It's you have your different areas of heat. Perfect.
Fried fish from the river seasoned with turmeric. Boiled greens, hard-cooked duck eggs and fish sauce, a hearty fish soup, green bananas, taro, tamarind, and starfruit, all from the family garden. Our hosts, the Lees, a not atypical extended family. Mom, dad, kids, grandkids, nieces, and nephews. Nearly the whole family make their living from the river. Dad and son are boat captains. The son-in-law, a fisherman.
What's your favorite dish?
Well, I love the fish. Soup is terrific. It's all great. Really enjoying.
Oh, this egg there with the fish sauce was extraordinary.
So am I to understand both of this couple grew up in this area?
Yes.
During the war? One was drafted into the South Vietnamese army and the other worked for the North?
It sort of happened in the Vietnam War.
In a not uncommon twist of fate, the Lees, Mr. and Mrs., just married in fact, found themselves fighting on opposite sides of the conflict.
Was this very difficult?
They just have to do whatever they have to do.
They take a pretty dispassionate attitude towards this rather incredible-sounding scenario, something one encounters again and again here.
When he was drafted, did he actually have to fight his countrymen at any time?
Chú có phải thực đi ra đánh nhau không? He actually did have to fight. In the front, in the field, you have no idea at all.
Right.
Can't see the enemy, so you just have to fight when they're fighting you. If you don't fight, you die.
You ask questions like, aren't you angry? Or how could that happen? And people look at you like you're naive.
I mean, how does he feel when he sees Americans come?
He said he didn't mind whoever you are, American or others. They just look at normal people. Nothing special, nothing serious.
What about the French? They're terrible people, the French. Oh,
How
sorry.
about the French Americans?
Oh, yeah, right. No. So much is changing in Vietnam so fast. Everybody's got a nicer scooter. The kids are a little bigger. The clothes are nicer. The buildings going up everywhere. Is that all good?
From my experience, they got two sides in it. Good and bad thing. People got a better life, but the Western cultural impact is not really well organized.
A lot of serious questions, but thank you so much. Good food.
Since my very first trip to Vietnam to make another TV show in 2000, I was hooked. Besotted by her landscapes, thrilled by the food, charmed, utterly enthralled by her people. Particularly one special person, Madame Gai. Although we'd only just met, I quickly felt like I'd known her all my life. A short, hard-working woman in vintage Chanel, alternately smiling warmly and terrifying her employees, she was the proprietor and queen of the restaurant, Saigon. But to us, she was like a mother. She insisted we call her Mom Gao, and she doted on us like her children. Here's a photo of Mom Gao displeased with executive producer Chris Collins' decision to not shave that day. Bad son. And here she is with me, very pleased that I, at least, had had the decency to freshen up for her. Good son. This is a moment that stayed with me, and this photo is always on my wall. A happy time. Back then, the way I remember it, when I first came here, it was a noisy mob scene. Motorbikes crammed with families putt-putting through the dining area. A constant din of breaking crockery. The sky filled, it seemed, with discs of sizzling rice. Mom Gao's unique spin on a traditional dish. The table, the dining room brimming with brightly colored plates of food. And always, always when I ate here, Mom Gao was by my side, making sure I was happy, telling me about her life. So when I heard she died, I was determined to, at very least, say a few things left sadly unsaid. Come to Saigon. It's all about Mom Gao. So I don't know what it's going to be like without her, but to not come would be unthinkable. Even the colors seem more muted now. The atmosphere, well, different. My condolences for their loss. We miss her terribly. I've never met Mr. Lignac. I'll leave it at that. And though Mom Gao spoke warmly of her son Bao, I hadn't met him either. His mother was a very, very important person to us. She took care of us as if she were our mother also. You know, I remember she'd be sitting in the lobby of our hotel when we woke up in the morning. I remember that when Chris was sick, she fretted over him terribly. A tough, strong businesswoman with a very good, very soft heart. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Good to be here.
I sit down on the curb, feeling pretty bleak about things, wondering if I could really live here, if I could really love this place again as I once did when everything was fresh and new. Could I, would my family, be happy here? But a few moments pass, typical ones in Vietnam, and you sit still for a while and just watch the street around you, the movements of bodies and objects through space. A mom teaching her baby daughter to sit on the bicycle seat and hang on to the handlebars. Young girls holding hands as they walk down the street coming back from school. A young boy playing with a yo-yo. People eating everywhere, having drinks. A family catches up on their day. The ebb and flow of a crowded city block, that's when things come into focus. A neighborhood, a small town within a city. I hope that'll never change. Everything changes, and yet maybe everything does stay the same. The Vietnam I fell in love with is still here.